Hey y'all, Rick Sky here, and I want to talk about what's the best network attached storage, the best NAS for Final Cut Pro 10. Now, if you've ever tried to store Final Cut Pro 10 files, and they call them libraries within the video editing community, basically a Final Cut Pro 10 file is a library. It's a collection of files. So when you open it up within Final Cut Pro 10, you've got your events, you've got your projects, you've got your assets, all of that within that library file. Now the challenge with storing Final Cut Pro 10 libraries on network attached storage is there's a lot of network attached storage that does not enable that Final Cut Pro 10 library to copy properly. Now what I mean by that is that because of certain file systems out there that are present on some network attached storage devices, if you copy that, let's just say you go into Final Cut Pro 10, you create a library, and then you copy that library out to your network attached storage, it may not copy all the files correctly. And that's because of the way that a Final Cut Pro 10 library is structured. So for that reason, you've got a few options that you can consider. And if you're really technically savvy, I should say, you could spin up a Linux box. You could configure Samba with what's called Apple Fruit. You could go through a series of configuration files. If you're technologically strong, you could do that, and you could make it work wonderfully with Final Cut Pro 10 libraries. With that being said, if you want something quick, easy, and affordable, the network attached storage device that I recommend using for Final Cut Pro 10, it's actually what I use right now. I've got a local USB hard drive that contains all of my Final Cut Pro 10 libraries, the ones that I want to keep, footage from all over. I'm Captain Irish guy, I get out in the sailboat and do all this, that, and the other, and I want to keep that footage. Stuff I don't care about, I discard, but I keep the footage on my external USB hard drive, and then I've got a copy of it on my network attached storage device, which is the Synology. And you can expand this video's description and then click the link there to find the Synology NAS, the Synology network attached storage device like I use. And it's not limited to Final Cut Pro 10 use. I use it for Final Cut Pro 10 libraries. I use it for old, this was back before iPhoto, before Photos app on Mac. It was called iPhoto. I store a bunch of old iPhoto libraries on my network attached storage device, and then also just documents, photos, videos. You can store anything you want on it, but it works wonderfully for Final Cut Pro 10. Now I do want to tell you, the NAS like I use, if you're editing 4K video, even if you've got a gigabit network, 4K video editing live from that library is not going to be optimal. If you want to do that, you can check the other link within this video's description. There's a 10 gigabit version, which is going to cost a lot more. But if your objective is to simply store and then retrieve Final Cut Pro 10 libraries as you work with those libraries, this NAS is great because you can put very large hard drives in it. This particular device that I've linked below supports up to 2 hard drives. So a massive amount of storage, and something that any computer, any Mac or Windows computer for that matter, on your network that needs to access files, you can access those files from the NAS. And it works great for Final Cut Pro 10 libraries. So to kind of give you my workflow, say I've got a library, it's, I film in 4K exclusively most of the time, except for just, quick clips here and there. But my typical 4K library after a week of filming at a destination is probably going to be 1.2 terabytes or so. So in the case where I need to retrieve a destination, I'll copy that 1.2 terabyte Final Cut Pro 10 library to my local Mac, and then I'll edit it from there. So I'm not editing across the network, but I'm using the Synology network attached storage device as a place to retain and a place to access my Final Cut Pro 10 libraries from. Now we'll do RAID, which is redundant array of inexpensive disks. So if you put 2 disks, 2 hard drives in, you can have redundancy. But instead of using it for redundancy, what I do, I just slap in a second hard drive to get more capacity, and then I've got as I mentioned earlier, a secondary backup of my Final Cut Pro 10 libraries on a USB hard drive that I can just, store elsewhere in a safe location. So, but the convenience of having the NAS, the network attached storage for Final Cut Pro 10, is not only being able to share your Final Cut Pro 10 libraries with a team, but also have those Final Cut Pro 10 libraries on a NAS that's not on your desktop, because more than likely your Mac is flash and it's quiet. Well, you put a USB mechanical drive up there, then you got the mechanical sound. It's just not good. So I've got my NAS in a separate room in my data center, Irish Guys Adventure Channel Studio. Check out that video. And I don't hear any noise when I'm editing or retrieving files, so it's great. Tell me what you think within the comment section below, and be sure to subscribe. And when you do, ring that bell to be notified whenever I post another video. And again, expand this video's description and then click the link there. You can find the Synology NAS like I use, also the hard drive like I use inside the NAS. And like I said, this NAS that I use, you can put up to 2 hard drives in it. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day. If you have any additional questions, comment below and I'll try to post a video response. Hey y'all, Irix Guy here. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please be sure to subscribe to my channel, and when you do, ring that bell icon to be notified whenever I post another video. Thanks for your viewership, and y'all have a good day.